Okay, it's cinnamon roll baking time. First thing first, you have to prepare your yeast. The key to a perfect yeast is heating up your milk. Here I have 1/3 cup milk. I'm going to pour it in a microwave safe mug. You're going to heat that until it's lukewarm. You don't want it like boiling hot, just lukewarm. So I'm gonna put that in the microwave. Okay, here is the milk. Okay, it is a little too hot, so we're going to wait for that to cool off a little bit. Okay, while that is cooling, I'm gonna prepare the yolk. You need 1 egg yolk. You're going to crack open the egg, and you don't wanna dump the egg into the bowl just yet. You wanna start tossing it from one shell to the other. So this is separating the yolk. You're gonna pour the yolk into a little bowl. Keep that safe for later. Okay, so just tested my milk again for temperature. It is at a warm temperature. It is no longer boiling hot. So now we can go ahead and add the active dry yeast. Here I have 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. You're going to pour that into the milk. And you're gonna set a 10 to 15 minute timer. Okay, so our yeast is done. It looks like this. I don't know if you can tell, but it's super foamy at the top. That's what a good yeast should look like. So I have a bowl ready with 1 cup flour. We're going to go ahead and mix in the yeast, the egg yolk, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, and 2 tablespoons melted butter. You're gonna go ahead and mix that up. I like to use a spatula at first and then start mixing with my hands. Okay, so as you can see, the mixture is all incorporated with the wet ingredients. So now I'm going to dump it on a surface with flour and knead it until it becomes one large dough ball. Okay, so I'm done kneading the dough and it looks like one big dough ball. So now that it is one large ball of dough, I'm going to grease this bowl, set it inside, and let it rest for about an hour or until it is double the size. So while it's rising, I'm going to make the filling for the cinnamon rolls. Okay, so the filling is super simple. All you need is 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So the butter is going to be used to spread on top of the dough, and then you're going to sprinkle on the cinnamon and brown sugar mixture. So all we're mixing right now is the cinnamon and brown sugar. Once it is all mixed in and incorporated, you're going to wait for your dough to rise, and then comes the fun part. Okay, so the dough has finished rising. It's been an hour, and as you can see, it is twice its original size, which is exactly what you want. So you want to place the dough on a well-floured surface so it doesn't stick. You're going to get a rolling pin if you have one. If you don't have one, no big deal. You can just squish it with your hands and create an oblong shape. This recipe says that it makes about 4 cinnamon rolls. It's a small serving, so it's perfect for just 2 people. But I tend to cut mine a little smaller, so last time I created this recipe, it created 6 cinnamon rolls. But if you make your rolls a little larger, then it'll come out to maybe 4. And now we have the perfect shape. And now we're going to spread the softened butter on top. So here I have 2 tablespoons of softened butter. I'm just gonna plop it on top like that. Okay, now that you have your butter all spread, you're going to get your cinnamon and brown sugar mixture and sprinkle it all on top. So I'm just gonna sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Just a little rough sprinkle, and then you're gonna get your spatula and kind of just even it out. Super easy. Then comes the fun part. You're going to roll it up. So here is the rolled up dough. I'm going to butter my pan or just spray some of this Pam. You don't want your cinnamon rolls sticking to your pan. Now, you can use a serrated knife to cut your slices, but it's a lot easier if you use dental floss. So you're going to cut a piece of dental floss. Then I'm gonna cut my first roll, and you just pull together. And look at that, super easy. There's your first roll. I'm gonna place it in the pan. Okay, so here are my rolls. I only made 4 this time. Last time I made 6, so they kind of filled up the whole pan, but I made them a little bigger this time. So we're gonna pop these into the oven. Make sure your oven is preheated for 400 degrees. You're gonna keep these in for 15 minutes, and they should be ready to go. You know what that means. They're ready. Cinnamon rolls are ready. Here's what they look like. One toppled over, real life, guys. These 3 look super delicious. Now, the recipe I use does come with a frosting recipe, but I'm not super fancy and I don't want to make my own frosting, so I just use Pillsbury white frosting. Once they're cooled off, I'll top my cinnamon rolls with this and they'll be ready to eat. Okay, y'all, it's time to ice these puppies. So you just get a big heap and scoop of icing, spread it over your little cinnamon rolls. And there you go. Your cinnamon rolls are all iced and ready to eat. That's a good cinnamon roll. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make these cinnamon rolls today. I'm excited to see if you try them as well. This is not my recipe, but it's a recipe that I have used before and they turned out really great. So I've continued to use it. I'll post the link for the recipe down below for you guys to check it out. Bye guys!